Alrighty. Honest deck review time. So I got this deck in today. It was a Christmas gift for myself because nobody gives me decks for Christmas, except for Martin, of course. um, and I have been wanting this deck for the longest time. This preview image, I saw it on Amazon. I saw the name Jennifer Sodini and Natalie Miller of the infamous Amenti Oracle, and I was like, I need to have this. Then I saw Kat Graham, Bonnie from the Vampire Diaries, and I was like, what? And then I saw Frank Elaridi, and I saw Bryant Wood. I was like, that's 4 authors and 1 illustrator in one deck. I saw some preview images, and I was still like sold. Because it's a style I dig. However, then the first reviews started appearing, and I noticed a type of card that is very prevalent in the deck. Obviously, it's a Chronicle Books release. They are very good at their deck presentation. What I didn't like from the get-go is that this wasn't wrapped in plastic. So there's already a lot of stainage going on. There was just this sticker to make it, seem like it was like, to prove that it was a new copy. But if you would have told me this was a used copy, I would have believed you. I don't know if you can see the stainage, but there's a lot of dents, lots of stains, and sometimes that little plastic layer can help. I know a lot of people get upset about plastic, but when you live in a country that does actually recycle, like where I live, it's not such a big deal. You can just toss it in the plastic recycling bin and it will get recycled. So that's kind of where my eeks started. Obviously, this box is amazing. We've seen it before in their Star Spinner Tarot release, which is good. I have rehomed it because I love the majors, but I thought the illustrations on the minors were subpar, so I ditched that deck as soon as I could. We get the cute little ribbon, so far, lovely. First thing I did was check out the cards, and obviously, I've sorted them all. So let me take a specific type of card out of the deck because I want to talk about it. The cardstock on this deck is really good. It's really thick. It's got lovely matte lamination, which I like. I prefer matte lamination over matte UV coating. I know most deck creators completely lose their tits over matte UV coating. I prefer a matte lamination because you kind of get that buttery matte. I love the backs. This type of illustration is really, really cool. I mean, come on. It's very 80s Italo disco album cover. And, look at that. Like, this is a deck that I love. I love, even if, the guidebook is complete. And this isn't, by the way, this is not going to be a walkthrough in the sense of I'm going to show you every card and ooh and ah. No, I'll be showing them like this, whether you like it or not. This is a quick video for me because I want to get something off my chest about this deck and why I was a little bit disappointed. I still like this deck. I can still use this deck. Because it's a good set of keywords and it's pretty pictures and, sometimes that's just all you need and it has a really great, cool looking aesthetic. And it didn't cost me an arm and a leg. But what I did notice during the review was these cards. There's 10 of these sigil. Let me place these down so you can see. I'm going to show you these properly. I knew that these were going to be in there, so this is not like news to me, all right? But there's like 10 of these sigil-y cards in there that don't have an illustration. They just have a sigil. Not an amazing sigil, to be quite honest with you. Looks like one of those, I don't know, computer-generated ones. they have good keywords and they have cool colored backgrounds. So that's, you know, that's something. But to have 10 of these in the deck, I was like, we need to have an explanation in the guidebook as to why these cards are in there. Because, you know, this compared to this is quite sparse. Even if you take them all out, it's still 40 cards. So, you know, like there's 10 sigil cards in the deck. 40 cards is a fine number for an Oracle deck. So I was like, I can't wait to dive into this book where, no doubt about it, because the MNT Oracle has an amazing guidebook, it will all get explained. This is the guidebook. It's pretty chunky. I opened the guidebook. Look, it's not glued. The binding isn't glued together to the actual like book part. So I'm going to have to redo that myself. But you can completely see through the back. So immediately I'm like, no. This can't be happening. This is a brand new deck. A premium Chronicle Books product. Why did this happen? Obviously, the authors can't help that. But, you know, like, I should return this, but return laws in the Netherlands are a bit weird. And you know what? Whatever. I'm not going to use the guidebook that extensively anyways. And then we get a pretty bad, how do we call it? How do we call this again? Where they tell you which... I don't know words because I'm fuming. And then we get dedications from all the 4 authors. Frank Ellaridi, Jennifer Sodini, Brian Wood, Kat Graham. I don't know why Kat Graham is involved. She doesn't post about this on her socials at all. It almost seems, and this is going to be an assumption, and if I'm wrong, you know, feel free to comment, like it was a name that was added to the roster to give this deck some fame and some clout. However, we get an introduction. What is Modern Nirvana? Okay, blah, blah, blah. What is Amenti Oracle? The Amenti Oracle deck is a different deck by Jennifer Sodini. And nowhere does it state why this is in here all of a sudden. Then we get the Modern Nirvana Oracle. We get a whole story about it. It's a very long story. It could have used some better paragraphing and or some white lines in between the text because it's a pretty intense, dense, I don't know, page layout that I don't vibe well with. So I haven't read that, obviously. Then we get into the how to use the cards, and this is where my fucking heart literally stopped. Cut the deck, pull cards. The pharaonic stance is the left foot forward. It symbolizes the ability to lead with the heart. In this tradition, you would pick up the cards with your left hand and shuffle them by gently placing them out of order. Do not Vega shuffle your cards. They can capture stray energies or become easily damaged. Bitch, please. No. No, that is not a thing. Like, I really want all these metaphysical authors to stop forcing their shuffling suckage onto, you know, people using cards for the first time and becoming scared, because I can Vega shuffle this fine, and there are lots of bad vibes here right now, but not because of the Vega shuffling, but because of this crappy piece of text. So I was looking up and down in this guidebook, browsing through. So we get an illustration and then we get an explanation for the card. They're all in here in alphabetical order. So the fact that the index is kind of crappy doesn't matter because it's easy to find. And to be quite honest with you, the guidebook, because I'm going to be honest, the guidebook write-ups are really good. They're interesting. There's lots of little rituals and things to do for each card. So So that's fun and great. And then we get some acknowledgements and also printing on the cover. Like, come on, people. Like, no. No text on the covers. Like, at least have it be a cute illustration like right here. But I was looking up and down as to find a reason why the sigil cards are in here. This is one of the first ones. It doesn't really say. So the guidebook entry doesn't really differentiate between a sigil card or a card with a regular illustration. So I started looking through the guidebook again, and obviously if I find something else about this in this book, I will do a rectification, but I did find something. Where was it? Where the hell was it? Oh yeah. So we get this section right here, and I'm going to have to read it aloud in order for you to understand. So maybe you guys can see if I'm missing something. Some of life's greatest answers can be found in the questions themselves. That's the first sentence in this how to use the cards section. Who am I? What is my purpose? Why am I here? Existential inquiry is inherent to the human experience, and while we may not always get binary answers to the big questions, having an array of tools in our metaphysical toolkits can help unpack the gray areas as we delve deeper into the layers of guidance we are working through. Who in the world am I? Ah, that's the great puzzle. Lewis Carroll, Alice Adventures in Wonderland. Okay, cute little quote. These oracle cards have been designed to offer guidance, easily digestible teachings, and practical bits of esoteric wisdom inspired by Eastern philosophy. And sprinkled throughout the deck, you will also find 10 meditative practices to further ground the symbolic language and art within this journey. Each of these 10 cards is coupled with a sigil. Okay, so I'm going to have to eat my words. I didn't read right. So these 10 cards have meditative practices. Okay, so that makes sense, I guess. But it's only in this little bit, and it's not really like mentioned anywhere. I almost feel like this should be its own section almost. But so each sigil card has a meditative practice. I rather would have had this sigil be a little marker somewhere in the corner and have an actual illustration, if I'm honest with y'all, if I can be honest. But for some reason, also the way that was written and that I had to read that 6 times in order, because this is the 6th time I've read that part, and I had to read it aloud in order for me to make sense of that, is not good. So now that the bitching is over, let's just look at the cards, because the cards that, I mean, I like sigils. I think the sigils that are on here are pretty, they're lacking in creativity. You can do amazing sigil art. And, Natalie Miller is a great artist. And it almost feels like they were added as an afterthought. It almost feels like they had a 40-card deck and thought, no, we need more. Our deadline is next week. Natalie, can you, create 10 sigil cards for these keywords and just, do it quick. The contrast is just too big. It doesn't look good. It just doesn't. No matter how much you may love Kat Graham, spiritual teacher Kat Graham, because obviously in order for someone to get published nowadays, we have to attach a C-list celebrity name in order for us to get enough clout to get the deck published. These look like ass together. So I don't know if I'm going to keep these sigil cards in. The way I received the deck and the way it was haphazardly put together did kind of sour the whole experience for me. However, I was talking to Martin about this earlier. I do love this art. I also love the Amenti Oracle. I don't use that nearly enough. I should use it more. You know what? I'm gonna use this a lot, but I don't think I'm going to be using the guidebook a whole bunch. You do kind of need it for some cards, because I don't know what the Rose Phoenix is. So, you know, like there will be some... I love this art. This was one of the cards that made me go, oh yeah, I need this deck. Especially that one, and then we already passed that one. This card. It's so stunning. It is that... It reminds me a little bit of, like I said, 80s Italo disco album covers. There's a song called Faces by Clio. That's Clio. You can look it up on YouTube. You'll see that album cover. That's very much this style. Also, you know, a lot of art from Stephen Strange's albums for... I forget the name of the band. Visage, you know, kind of that style. I like that a lot. But also a little bit the Head Candy, Ibiza, like dance rave albums. Kind of that vibe as well. So yeah, I do like it a lot. So, but what I don't like so far about the guidebook is that it's very unclear who of the 4 authors did what. It looks a bit haphazardly put together. It looks like it could have used an extra round of editing. You know, I'd rather have more paragraphs and more white lines between paragraphs than 2 pages of this. I'd rather have a thinner, better bound book without all the illustrations, because, you know, who's gonna take a book like this and look at those illustrations when the illustration is literally in front of you, right? But we're not allowed to say that, because that's aggressive and too honest. And, you know, there's a lot of diversity in this deck. Here, there's another crappy sigil. But, you know, like I said, it's a good set of keywords. It's interesting. It looks really interesting. I really wish Natalie would break loose from Jennifer and maybe work on... I wish Natalie would work with someone who would construct a better, like, more cohesive deck with her. And they did do that for the Amenti Oracle. That deck did have a really clear vision. It was very potent. This one doesn't have that. Look, like, this is total, like, Visage album cover vibes, and I love that. So the 80s vibe and the Head Candy vibe is something that I do adore. And also art-wise, I love how Natalie, like, has improved over the last couple of years, because I loved the artwork in the Amenti Oracle, and this is, you know, like, even better. So overall, it's a cute set, but, you know, it's a cute set that you pick up when it's $12 half off on clearance at your local bookstore, not for the full price. I would, you know, honestly put it on your Amazon wish list, check out if it ever, like, goes on sale, because, like I said, the quality, the production quality of the set, as well as the way it was packaged, as well as the way the guidebook was constructed, because I expected so much more from those intro pages. The fact that it's written by 4 people, supposedly, but we don't really know who wrote what. The fact that Kat Graham is involved. You know, and honestly, this is a very negative review for something that I do actually like. So I'm not ditching it. I'm not returning it. I'm keeping it. But, you know, I think people should... All the reviews I've seen of this were all glowing. Oh, what are these sigil cards? And you could literally hear the reviewer being bummed. But everybody's just so afraid to speak their minds about shit like this. And I was like, you know, I knew those sigil cards were in there because of them, but the fact that there's literally one sentence that I had to decipher in the guidebook as to why they are there, just, at least to me, shows that there was very little I don't know, too many captains on one ship. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 credited authors. Like, no, that doesn't work. As a deck to use intuitively, just with the keywords and the art, great set. Wait for it to go on sale, because believe me, it will. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye.